just being able to actually walk somewhere, not feeling out of breath, not getting back pains or anything like that. When I started my journey, I had high blood pressure. I was borderline diabetic. I suffered from migraines, and all of that's reversed. I don't have any of that anymore. No symptoms of it. Yeah, even when I used to get ill, it took forever to get over it. Whereas now, my immune system's a lot better. So yeah, a lot can change, and obviously clothes and stuff like that is amazing. It's an amazing feeling when you can actually go into shops and buy what you want. I mean, I was buying 6XL t-shirts online, and you were only buying it because it's the only thing that fit. Whereas now I can go into a shop and I can wear what I want. People will probably laugh at my fashion sense, but it's what I like, and I feel comfortable wearing it.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Slimming Stories. I'm your host, Claire Oldham West. I decided to record the introduction to the podcast for the second week, and honestly, it's just taking it all out of me. I keep checking, I keep re-recording. I don't know if it's that added pressure that this is going to be on video, and I'm really conscious of not to stumble or mumble or say something wrong. So I'm just this is the last time I record this. This is about the 6th take I've tried. So, breathe, Claire, keep breathing. Today's guest is Aaron Snares. Aaron Snares is a Slimming World sticker rock through and through. He has had a great success story with Slimming World. He's lost over 16 stone in weight. And it's really not easy, is it? When you've got to that point where you recognise that, it's not just a couple of stone that you've got to lose. You've really got to dig deep and think about what will work. Luckily, Aaron was able to find Slimming World, and that really did work for him. But it's not that Slimming World is a magical plan. It really isn't. Aaron has had his tough days. He's had those days where he felt that he just couldn't do it. He's put weight back on at times, and he's always been consistent at recognising that deep down, this is a plan that really does work for him. So he's got back up and is recommitted to his slimming journey, and the weight's come back off. He's lost over 16 stone with Slimming World. And if you're at the end of the year and you're thinking, what's happened? What's happened to 2020? That weight loss didn't happen. I do feel that Aaron will be able to motivate you and help you to see that there is light at the end of the tunnel, no matter what plan you follow. I feel that, on Tuesday when I publish the transformation photograph of Aaron, if you're not already following him on Instagram, you will see that this is a guy that has just really believed in what it means to lose weight. When I started to record this episode, it was at the beginning of the summer, and it was before Aaron had his new addition to his family. So he's now a proud dad. And I think that has helped us to motivate him just to carry on those rough days. And we all have them, don't we? We all have them. And no matter what plan you're on, whether it's Weight Watchers or keto, we all have those times where we feel, I've had enough. I can't do this anymore. And I think Aaron's story will really inspire you to believe that you can do this. You can do this. It's lost over 16 stone. That's such a fantastic achievement. It really is. It's no secret that Aaron suffers with anxiety and has been really vulnerable in this podcast interview. And I love the fact that he's done that, and he's a guy and he's shown up and he's just been his lovely self, and he's got a great slimming story to share. So here's introducing Aaron Snares to Slimming Stories. How would you describe your relationship with food, Aaron? At what point did you feel, okay, everything's fine, I've got no issues with food? Can you even remember a time that you felt comfortable around food and didn't obsess around it or think about how this would affect your weight?
For me, to be fair, I never really thought about it. For me, it was like I was eating and the weight wasn't really affecting me. So, I've always been quite big. From the age of maybe 8 years old. I just put it down to family genes that I was big. So I was just eating and it didn't really matter. But when I got to the age of about 16, and then I started getting my own regular money a little bit from doing paper rounds and stuff like that. So I was just going out, buying takeaways, loads of sweets with my friends. And it wasn't until about the age of 18 when alcohol became legal for my age, obviously. I was actually going out every maybe 2-3 nights a week, and it wasn't just your 5-6 drinks each night. It was literally, I was going overboard. And because I was bigger, I just didn't feel like it was affecting me. And I was always like a big drinker, so I was always having competitions with my friends and stuff like that. It's just like lads, you know what lads are like, all the banter and stuff. So yeah, I was around about the age of 18. I actually started to put the weight on. Well, it was spiraled, let's say. But the thing is, I was a football coach at the time. It was kind of hard because you're trying to be a role model for kids, and you're putting on weight, and parents are watching you coach their children. And you don't feel like you're a role model. And obviously football being like the sport I love, you can't be that role model to kids, and you can't then go and play the sport you love as well because you are getting bigger. Yeah, and I mean, a few times, while I was coaching as well, I had kids heckling me for my size as well, which, coming from a child, is not very nice coming from a child, is it really?
No.
Anyone really. But yeah, I mean, that's when I realised things were getting a bit out of hand. I left my sports coaching job. I got a good job in the city in London. It was good money for my age. At the time, when you're working in central London, I every time I was waking up in the morning, I didn't have time to go and to make my lunches. But I made the excuse I couldn't make my lunches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So always something grab and go. And working in the city, I wasn't getting home till late. So I was having a takeaway for lunch, a takeaway for dinner. And yeah, it just got completely out of hand. My journey into work was like 2 hours a day. So I was having to get up at like 4:30, 5 o'clock just to get into work. I really fancy something big, so I'd pick up like a bag of crisps or stick it in a sandwich. But it wouldn't just be one sandwich, it'd be 2 sandwiches because it was just quick to go, and that would fill me up. So yeah, it was more just a hectic lifestyle, and I just didn't make time for myself.
So what time would you arrive back home then after this really long day?
So like I say again, if I finish, sometimes I'd finish at 7 o'clock, so I wouldn't be getting home till about 9 o'clock. So eating a big heavy takeaway at like 9 o'clock in the evening or something like that, it's not the best thing for you, really.
No, and at the time I think it feels, it's a convenience, isn't it? That tasty food, and a lot of takeaway food is full of sugar as well. It's so not that it's just addictive, but it's that kind of instant, that rush, that feel good factor. And I guess if you've been at work all day, you've been on these long commutes, it's quite nice to think, well, I've got this lovely meal to look forward to.
Exactly, yeah. Jump on the train and you can just eat it there and then as well. That's convenient, like you say.
Absolutely. So after working all day and having this lovely takeaway, how did you feel in your physical self? How was you on the sofa? You've had a hard day at work. How did you feel in your body at that time?
I tell you what, it's like a 5-minute satisfaction. You've been looking forward to it, you have it, it feels good for that 5 minutes, but then afterwards you just feel like, why did I eat that? It feels really heavy on me, or I feel really sluggish. And I mean, being the size I was anyway, I was always sluggish, but eating that just makes it a ton worse.
Yeah.
Whereas now, I'd rather not. That 5 minute satisfaction is nothing compared to a lifetime of happiness that you get now from not having it and having healthier foods.
Exactly. And I know I've been reading a lot of your posts on Instagram, and one of the reasons I wanted to get you on was just to have a honest conversation around binge eating. And I know that sometimes it feels that the pressure's there, and sometimes it feels that you've had this fantastic weight loss, but sometimes it feels that those habits, although they're well in the past, that sometimes something can bring it to the forefront, can't it? How can you describe that now, having lost weight, feeling those feelings, those feelings that you kind of out of control with the food and that you just want to eat and binge?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I suffer with my mental health as well, so that's a huge strain on me sometimes. I mean, the last few weeks with lockdown, I've actually been struggling myself and put on quite a considerable amount of weight in about 3 weeks. And then I'll be back on it tomorrow. I know the plan works, I can get back on it, but it's easy to get back into old habits. It's harder to get yourself back out of it. And I think obviously I was having that one day and then carrying it on. And I was just literally doing it every day, it wasn't good for me. Again, I started slipping back into my old ways of being sluggish and stuff like that, and getting out of breath. And I could feel that I was putting on the weight.
And I think for people like onlookers, maybe family who don't have an issue with the weight, or friends, it's very hard to describe binge eating. I know that when I'm in that moment where I'm eating and I recognise that I'm not eating for hunger, I recognise that another chocolate bar isn't going to feel like, oh, fantastic, it's chocolate, because I'd had that many chocolate bars before that point. Getting out of that cycle, and sometimes for me it feels like I just need to get it out of my system. And I know that point comes, otherwise I would be double the weight that I'm now. There'll come a point where something will click and it'll be, right, Claire, what you're doing to yourself. So if you just want to talk a little bit about that and how that feels for you when you're in that moment.
As I say, there was quite a lot of times where I've struggled throughout, but like I always find looking back on your old photos and stuff like that, that was like this time when I had my struggles, I remember looking back at a picture of my lightest last year in September, and I was thinking, you know, I'm not happy where I am at the moment. I'm the only one that can do something about it. And it's the words that my nan said to me before she passed away, and she's obviously my motivation for my journey. And she said that you can only do this for yourself. You know what to do, go and do it. Them words always play in my head, like throughout this whole journey. And I made her the promise that I was going to do it. It's not as easy as that, but I always look back and think of them words that she always says to me, and then it always sort of clicks me back into mode. And I find that motivation again. I mean, this time when I did have my struggles the other week, I sat down with my partner as well, and she gave me a few new goals that I needed to set myself. I think I got a bit complacent, and where I've already lost the weight, I'm just so used to losing, you sort of maintain for a while, don't you? And then, like I say, you just get complacent. You think you know the plan. Sometimes you just need that refresher. And that's what I've done. So my partner, Lucy, she had a word with me and said, let's set yourself some new goals. And obviously with the baby on the way, that's my main goal now. I mean, obviously my nan's always been my motivation for my journey. Comes a point where you've got to set yourself new goals. So my nan will always be my motivation, but now it's my baby on the way. And me and Lucy sat down and we basically said that I'm not very comfortable taking off my t-shirt and stuff like that in public. So my goals, one of my main goals now is to be able to actually, when the baby's born, to be able to have skin to skin with the baby, feel comfortable in doing so. So that's my click.
That's lovely. And you know, you've got so much to look forward to, and I know that your nan will be proud of how far you've actually come. And babies can be hard work, but it's so rewarding. And that love that you'll feel when that baby is born, honestly, you've got so many magical times to come, as well as sleepless nights. So it's really important. It's really important that you're well. So just want to explain to the guests who aren't aware of your journey, of your starting weight.
Okay, yeah, so when I started Slim World, I was 30.5 stone. So I was probably a little bit more, but just before I started. But I'd sort of done my little plan before, which I'd done quite well for about 3 weeks. But then that's when I started to slip away again. And then Slim World, I'd been told about it before. And then obviously with my nan's words, I just made the decision to go to Slim World. And yeah, started at 30.5 stone. Wasn't the nicest of feelings stepping on the scales to see that, but I'll never look back. It was the best thing I've ever done.
Brilliant. And how much did you lose in total on that plan?
So I lost 16.5 stone in total.
Wow. Brilliant. I mean, that you know, it takes a lot of hard work, doesn't it? It takes a lot of hard work just to get there. And
100%.
Before you stepped on the scales, on those Slimmers World scales, before your nan had that conversation with you, did you feel that you was just in like a loop and you was just going through the motions? Did you feel that there's nothing inside you that could push through to make a change, or did it literally just take your nan on a last days to have that conversation with you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously when you go for these diet plans, you always think it's just going to be the same. You're going to go there, you'll do well for a couple of weeks, and then you'll lose the motivation to do it. And you, like I say, you do well, and then you just slip away. But I think it was my nan's words, because I mean, she basically said to me that you've seen how I've struggled with like terminal cancer. You wouldn't want that for yourself. You wouldn't want that for your family. You know, weight is a big cause of cancer. And obviously seeing my nan suffer like that, that's just not something I wanted to put myself through, but more importantly, I didn't want my family to have to deal with that again. And with me being such a young age as well, it's not ideal. So yeah, I think it was more than my nan's words. I think if I hadn't have had them words of my nan and on my sister's wedding day, I probably wouldn't have been as successful as I am, I don't think. I mean, I went in with the words in my head, and I just basically said I was going to set myself small goals along the way, because every time I've done it, I've just put so much pressure on myself.
Yeah.
Going straight in with exercise and the diet plan, it was just too much for me. Whereas I just wanted to take it a step at a time. First week I lost 8.5 pounds, and I was just like, wow, how does this happen? Yeah, so I was like, how does this happen in 1 week? It's taken me 15 years, whatever, to put on the weight, and then you can lose it that quick in 1 week. So yeah, that's what kept me going. That first week, if I hadn't lost that first week and my nan's words, I probably wouldn't be where I am today.
No. And did it feel, once you got into the diet plan, did it feel that you was really focused, or did it feel like quite a struggle?
I won't lie, there's been a lot of struggles throughout. Like I say, mentally, it can be very challenging at points, and then you do have your life hurdles in the way. You still have to go out and enjoy yourself with your friends and stuff.
So you've explained about going to work, being really busy, buying, takeaways and one thing or another. Was there anything that you knew, right, okay, I need to change this for next week? Is there anything that you had to drastically change before you knew that you would be successful on this plan?
Yeah, I mean, I changed quite a lot. I mean, sometimes, like I said, I was having breakfast. Some days I wouldn't have breakfast, so I'd go all the way through to lunchtime, but then I'd be really hungry, then I'd have the big takeaway. So I made sure that I was having 3 meals a day. And I mean, a lot of people say about my portion size, but what I do is I pack my portions for 3 portions a day, obviously with the better things. So I'll have like the speed on the plate and my free foods and stuff. So I wouldn't pick in between, because I know I'd be full up on my 3 meals a day. Whereas beforehand, I wasn't doing that at all. I would miss meals, then I'd have my takeaways and stuff. Yeah. But there was never really on my plate maybe one bit of salad or a little bit of vegetables. It was never.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, like the majority of my meals would just be like chips in a fryer, full fat burgers and stuff like that. It was like greasy food, really. Never any healthy nutritional stuff on the plate.
So at this point, was you like rediscovering vegetables and the good stuff?
Yeah, I mean, so to be fair, from the beginning, there was quite a few vegetables I didn't like.
I'm the same.
I mean, but since I've been doing the plan, I've actually to be fair, my family are all chefs, so
wow,
I've never really had an excuse. I've watched them all cook. I never liked cooking, so since being on Slim One, I've actually discovered a liking for cooking. Oh. And it's actually it's quite a bit of a hobby for me now. I like changing things up, and I actually get a bit experimental with food as well. So now I am actually eating a lot of spice. I'm eating a lot of different vegetables, different speed foods, really. For example, like at the beginning of the plan, I never would eat beetroot or gherkins and little things like that. Adding them into your meals, and it's really, I think it's really nice. But
definitely, and I think as well, it can give it some colour, can't it? I think it's nice just to look at a plate of food. I mean, I love Asian food, and I think often with Asian food you'll see all the colours of the peppers and the spices, and just to make it look, appetising. And I'm like yourself, when I'm not on plan, my food is basically a custard, white bread and cake. It's just really, really, really rubbish. And axe fry will still come out, but I'll put all the oil in there and I'll literally just have chips and mayonnaise. So it's kind of a case of like stepping back and thinking, right, okay, this is a food I can have. What can I do to make the most of that? I think you're a cookbook waiting to happen. If all your family is chefs, I want to see that. I want to see that. I'd buy that, absolutely. So I know you're quite lucky that you've got all, you know, family of chefs. Have they been helping you?
When I was living at home, yeah, they helped quite a lot. Like if I was putting something in a meal that my mum didn't think looked right, she'd be like, "What are you doing?" Now I've got Lucy telling me off all the time. I mean, even though I've got a family of cooks as well, my presentation isn't the best, so I'm learning.
No.
I mean, yeah, like you say about the colourful plate and stuff. I mean, a lot of my Instagram stuff, as you've probably seen, I get quite a few comments on it saying that your plate is very colourful.
Oh, there we are then.
Which is always a good thing.
It is. I sometimes think, gosh, if I'm going to put it on Instagram, I've got to kind of wipe the plate. I never post the ones that look like really grim, and I don't know how people do fried eggs. Because whenever I do a fried egg, it looks ridiculous. I'd never post that on Instagram. But there are, you know, I think Instagram is great and it's a lovely community. And I think there's some lovely meals and people that you can follow just to get some inspiration. So you've obviously taken yourself to group, you've lost that weight, and you've got the support from your consultant, your group, and Instagram. So do you feel that people are coming to you now for advice? Because I know that you've got quite a popular account. Do you feel that is the case, and that you need to kind of be like a role model, if you like?
To be fair, I don't really see it as that. I post it obviously to keep account for myself. It definitely helps me along the way, blogging all my food and stuff. But it's nice to know that people do come to you as well and kind of see you as an inspiration as well. I take full advantage of the great support and the community of Instagram and Facebook. Again, that's another reason why I am where I am, because I've got so many people on there that I can turn to and ask for a little bit of advice or some tips or anything like that. It's definitely nice to know that people do come to you and they ask you for help.
So from somebody that suffers from time to time with mental health, and I have those dark times like a lot of people do, and then I have those dark times that are really dark because I suffer from PTSD. It can be tricky when to talk about your emotions sometimes when it is when you're going through those dark times. And even myself, I think, you know, okay, we'll reveal this, but we'll not reveal that, or we'll tell the family this, but just a little portion, just so they know that I'm struggling. But I'm not going to go into full detail because I don't want to upset them or stress them out. So when you talk about your mental health struggles, and I know that you're open about that on Instagram, do you get those same feelings that you can give away so much, but you don't want to give the full picture because you don't want to upset others? I just want to talk a little bit about that and how that affects you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you don't really want to burden anyone else with your problems. For me, like, I think where I went to counselling and stuff, they obviously, when the counsellors, they actually said to me, like, maybe try and, well, they tell you to speak a little bit more, don't they? I have that support in my family, I have that support with my consultant and stuff, so I like to be open about it. I'm completely open about my mental health issues and stuff.
How do you get triggered with your mental health? Can you pinpoint any triggers, or is it still a work in progress?
I mean, it's still a work in progress. I mean, it will never go. Mine is a lot to do with my nan, because that's around about the time when my mental health started to come into play. Obviously, I was struggling beforehand with like being bullied and stuff like that, but I think that was just like that slowly came in from there. But my nan was my main trigger, like missing her all the time, and obviously thinking about her. Now, obviously, like you say, with parenthood coming up, just knowing that you're going to have the pressure, like obviously it's a nice pressure. Yeah. And a rewarding one, like wanting to be the best parent you can be. Yeah. And
yeah, there's so much. And what are your biggest challenges at the moment, would you say, with the fact that you're going to be a new dad, first time parent, and from time to time you suffer with your mental health? What is the biggest challenge that you have? Is it your focus, or is it that you need to change routine?
Yeah, for me, my big struggles have been routine. like I do have a routine all the time. Like, I don't adapt to change very well, especially when it's massive changes as well. Obviously, being on furlough at the moment, I'm used to getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, getting my breakfast or my lunch ready, like going for a little walk or a little run before I go get on the train into London.
Wow.
So yeah, not having that at all is really affecting me. I mean, we always say that we haven't really got the time to go out and exercise and stuff like that. I mean, so that, like, while we've been in lockdown, we've had the perfect opportunity to do it, haven't we? So we kind of make excuses. We make excuses, but yeah, I think just routine and stuff has just been a major cause of my struggles lately.
Absolutely. And do you feel that you've taken the opportunity to do more exercise? Because I was the same as you. I was thinking, right, okay, Claire, you work full time, you do your podcast, you've got all these things going on, and I'm still furloughed, and I'm quite lucky that I've not had any effect with my pay or anything like that. And I'm thinking, great, I can do X, Y, and Z. I can go out, I can do the runs, I can be like that perfect, like, new runner. I'll be amazing. I'll be running, 10Ks. All this time I've been thinking the reason that my house isn't super tidy is because I've not got time, and actually I just don't want to do it. I just don't want to do it. And I think the same applies to exercise. Can you relate to that?
No, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I'm an avid gym goer. I love going to the gym and stuff. So obviously with the gyms being closed, it's just been playing on my mind so much. And I'm not really one that likes to go and run on the street. I like to be in the middle of nowhere and just put my headphones on and go with it. But on the streets and stuff, that's where all my anxiety triggers, because in the past where I've done it, that's when I was bigger, people would shout at me and heckle me along the street.
Really?
Yeah, like people driving past in cars and they're calling you names and stuff. So that triggers my anxiety a lot. So that's why I like to do my runs like in the middle of nowhere and just a bit of quiet and privacy to yourself, and
definitely
just get lost in the moment.
I can't believe that anybody would heckle somebody. That's just I can't believe anybody would do that. When I've been at the gym and somebody at a larger size, when I say larger, like a morbidly obese person has been at the gym, I've got so much respect. The fact that they're there and they're taking that effort, their effort is probably 100 times compared to my effort. Yeah, I mean, I'd challenge that a little bit. I wouldn't let that, that stop you from going out and running. Shame on them. That's disgusting. I can't believe I've heard that. Honestly, just really winds me up why anybody would stoop that low. And I think, when they're sat behind a car and they zoom off, I think they're clever, don't they? Just as some people on Instagram will troll people that are, could be quite popular, and then they don't think nothing of it. And I just think these are people, keep your opinions to yourself.
Yeah, you say it there, really. You've said about the trolls and stuff on Instagram. I mean, recently I've been having messages myself coming from people who've gone on to so-called sites, just putting trolling words about people, putting nasty messages about myself on there. So again, that's another thing that plays on your mind. I mean, I don't know I've done anything wrong, but
you haven't. Yeah. And these people could be sat on a mountain in the middle of nowhere, nothing else to do, and it's just type and then away, and then they're not really interested. I think when it comes to trolls, what you need to recognise is that they see something in you that is desirable, and they just want to mess things up and give you a hard time, and not to give in to them. And I think if you just see it as noise, literally not as words, as noise, and that's their noise, and it's nothing to do with you, then I think don't quit what you're doing. But I know I've heard from other people other guests that I've interviewed, that some people have had to come off social media, especially like yourself. You've been open about your mental health on there, your anxiety, and then you've got other people. I've heard there's actual sites regarding trolls as well that people can go on, and I just think surely. Have we got to that point where the only way that you can spend your evening is to be bitter and make somebody unhappy? It's just, it's really, really horrible. But I think you've got a lot of support on there, so I wouldn't let that get you down. I really, really wouldn't.
100%, yeah.
Exactly. So when you've been jogging and you've heard these negative things, and when you've had these horrible names from trolls, does it make you feel any shame? Can you block it all out?
Yeah, I think it depends what state of mind you're in, really. When I'm in a good place, it doesn't really bother me, but with my struggles recently, then that's when it sort of, it plays on your mind a bit. To be fair, it was a few weeks ago that I started to hear about some of the comments on Tattle, which is probably the thing that affected me and sort of sent me back into that mode of it was affecting me. I think someone put someone on there about since he's won his title, he's piled on a bit of timber. And there was a few other little comments on there, and I was just like, there's just no need for it. And I mean, and I know I've put on a few pounds at the lockdown, but to see it or to hear it from someone, that's when it sends you spiraling again. But I'm back in that good place. So
exactly.
Like when people have been sending me these comments lately, it's not really been affecting me. So it's just, again, like I said, it depends on what mood set you're in at the time.
Absolutely, definitely. And what do you feel has been the biggest change since you've lost this weight? Having been at that size, with obviously the restrictions that extra weight would bring, how do you feel in your physical body now that you're able to go out and you're able to run and you're able to go to the gym and enjoy it when it's open? How do you feel? How do you feel in your physical self? What are the changes that you've experienced?
Do you know what? It's been amazing. Like, literally, you feel on top of the world for it. Basically, we have a family football team, and I gave up playing after a year because I just felt like a fraud. I didn't have kit that fit me, so I was always having to have custom-made fits coming in for me. And people, like, again, on the pitch would take the mick out of me for my size. I used to be an outfield player, and I slowly ended up being back on goal as a goalkeeper because I just wasn't able to move around.
No.
So I gave up football then, stopped playing for about 7 years. I think last year I came back after losing quite a lot of the weight and started playing again. That's why I went in goal and I could come out on pitch if I wanted to. And we actually won the league in our first year back.
Oh, brilliant.
So, yeah, I mean, in that time of obviously hanging up my boots, I was managing one of the teams. It just wasn't the same. But coming back and actually winning a league in your first season back felt amazing.
Yeah.
Like you say, I feel a lot more active. When I first started my journey, it was like just little 20-minute walks around the park here and there. It was about 6 months, I started doing body magic and stuff. But yeah, it's about 20-minute walks around the park every other day. Just slowly built myself up. But yeah, it's amazing what you can do now. I mean, like last year, we done a charity walk. We actually climbed Snowdon last year because it was obviously a lockdown. And then this year, obviously, we were meant to do Snowdon again, but we ended up doing a coastal walk. So we walked 4 different coasts.
Lovely.
Yeah, so I mean, just being able to actually walk somewhere, not feeling out of breath, not get back pains or anything like that. When I started my journey, I had high blood pressure. I was borderline diabetic, suffered from migraines, and all of that's reversed. I don't have any of that anymore, no symptoms of it. Yeah. Even when I used to get ill, like, it would take forever to get over it. Whereas now, like, my immune system's a lot better. So yeah, a lot can change, and obviously clothes and stuff like that is amazing. Yeah. It's an amazing feeling when you can actually go into shops and buy whatever you want. I mean, I was buying 6XL t-shirts online, and you were only buying it because it's the only thing that fit. Whereas now I can go into a shop and I can wear what I want. People probably laugh at my fashion sense, but it's what I like. And I feel comfortable wearing it.
It quite made me laugh, actually, when you said to me that, you're a little bit shy before we did this interview. And I'm thinking, I'm sure I've seen you on your Instagram account and you've been like dancing around and putting wigs on and stuff. So is this the same guy? Is this the same guy? I think he's lying to me.
That's alcohol, that is.
Is that alcohol, right? Okay.
The dancing, and I think lockdown may have sent me a bit crazy.
Bless you.
TikToks have probably got a bit out of hand and dressing up.
But I think your colours are there, certainly in your clothes anyway. And it's nice, isn't it, just to shop and be able to buy what you want rather than thinking, God, I've got to buy this because it fits. How supportive has your partner been with you on plan?
So that's the good thing about my partner. She's actually on the similar plan as well. On Sunday, we normally plan ahead. I go out and do the shopping because obviously she's pregnant. She doesn't really want to go out to the shops at the moment.
No.
So yeah, we do all that. We do our planning and stuff. We take it in turns to do the cooking because I think she's probably a little bit better, but we won't tell her that.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, no, it's a lot easier having someone on the similar plan because she just gets it and she understands each other through it.
Oh, I'm so excited for you. Honestly, you've got so much good stuff to come. But get your sleep. Make sure you get your sleep now. Don't leave it. Make sure you get those sleeps in. If you're napping in the day, just go for it. Sure, you will both need that for sure. So, if you could give one piece of advice to any of the guests listening out there, what would it be in terms of just getting started?
I think the main thing is just believing in yourself. If you believe in yourself, it will all fall into place. Embrace the plan because the plan works. So, yeah, embrace the plan. Make sure that you do go to group each week if you are a group member because the support is like second to none. It's amazing. And I think you sort of form that. You kind of form a second family when you go to group as well, because they're always there to support you and stuff. And also, with me, I obviously went in knowing that I had 16.5 stone to lose. Well, originally it wasn't. It was 14.5 stone because I hit target twice. But I knew I had a lot to lose, and it seemed very off-putting and distant. So I went in this time round setting myself small individual goals that I knew that were achievable. Just took my time, got the balance with food first, and then started exercising and gradually building it up. And I thought that definitely worked better.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's been lovely to chat with you, Aaron. Thanks a lot for your time. It's been a great chat, and I know that this will inspire lots of people out there, and I can't wait to see those photos of baby.
It's been a pleasure to be on with you.
You're welcome. You take care. Thank you. To think that this guy's lost over 16 stone is just, you know, you hear it, don't you, on the podcast week in, week out, these great transformation stories, and it's just remarkable. And to think that is made such a positive impact on his health is just amazing. It really is. So please go and show Aaron some support on Instagram. You can find his account at snareslad_SW, and that's spelled SNARESYLAD_SW. And if this episode has inspired you, please consider sharing it with your friends and family. If you'd like to inspire other people like yourself that just need a bit of help just to focus after 2020, which has been just a crazy year, but we're not over yet, and I've got some great guests still to come. So thank you so much for tuning in to Slimming Stories. Until next week, take care and have a great one.